Hello dear children, in the last session video we have discussed about Louis Pasteur's main 4 discoveries or inventions. There we had seen about anthrax, inoculation, anthrax, then the difference between pure and stale air. Then we have seen silkworm industry, how Louis Pasteur helped silkworm industry. Then about bacteriology, Louis Pasteur started a branch of science called bacteriology. Then mainly we had seen about pasteurization. Then so these are the main things. Yesterday we have seen that we can call Louis Pasteur as an all-round scientist. So because whatever he had done in his life or in his laboratories, it is only to help the fellow human beings. He never had done any experiments related to poisonous gas or explosive items and all. He only did experiments to help the common people. So we called Louis Pasteur as an all-round scientist. This is the last session of our chapter. We will be starting from paragraph number 19. So at the end we have seen a kind of humbleness from Louis Pasteur's character or attitude when he came to attend a congress, a medical congress in London. There, when the people were clapping, Louis Pasteur thought it is for someone else. It would be for some royal person. He could never believe that for him. So that much he was humble in character also. So these all things we have seen in the last session. So let us start our last 4th session video from paragraph 19. One of his last experiments was in connection with the terrible disease which attacks a person who is bitten by a dog with rabies, a mad dog as we call it. Pasteur had grown very sure about the power of inoculation, and he decided to try out the same idea in cases of rabies. At that time, nearly everyone died who was bitten by a diseased dog. In 1885, Pasteur made his first experiment on a young Alsatian boy who came to him in Paris covered with bites from a mad dog. The boy's mother told Pasteur, "If you can cure animals, you can cure my son." So Pasteur inoculated him with some weak rabies germ and the boy recovered. So last we have seen about inoculation that he tried to solve the problem of anthrax. Here in the 19th paragraph we are seeing about rabies. You may have listened about rabies. It's a germ or bacteria infection caused by bite from mad dog. You may have seen that. Here in textbook one meaning had given for rabies: a dangerous disease of dogs and other mammals caused by a virus that can be transmitted through the saliva to humans, causing madness and convulsions. So like in simple words we can say that it is a virus infected disease. Now we are seeing about coronavirus. It's causing through like droplets from our body droplets. Now we are seeing these things in TV. When it is surrounded by all over the world, it is affected now. That is a virus. Yesterday I told you that these all things are doing in virology department. The research, studies, everything is going on in virology department. This rabies also caused by a virus. If one dog is affected by this virus, if the dog bites a person or any other animals, this virus will go through, or it will attack that person also who is got the bite from the dog. And from saliva it will spread like human to human or animal to human, human to animal. So this is called animal to animal. So this was one very dangerous issue at that time. So it is affecting lot of people. In 1885, at that time, this is not presently we have injections for that, medicines for that, we have treatment protocols for that. But at that time and nearly everyone died. Whoever got bite from the dog, probably everyone died. No, not common dog, diseased dog. Already the dog would be affected by this virus. It will be infected dog only. If the dog is biting someone, then that particular person also will get this virus, and they also will show the symptoms and this disease. So at that time, whoever getting this bites, they would die. So in 1885, Louis Pasteur, one mother took one boy to Louis Pasteur. He was complete in Paris. It happened in Paris. That boy was completely got bite from a mad dog. One mad dog had bitten that boy very badly. So that boy's mother had taken the boy to Louis Pasteur and told to Louis Pasteur, one classical sentence is there: if you can cure animals, you can cure myself. Here we have to see the trust, the confidence common people had on Louis Pasteur at that time, because this we can connect with that sentence. We called Louis Pasteur as an all-round scientist. Why? Because whatever he had done, he done only to help the common people. So that we can connect with this. Here one common mother, she came and told Louis Pasteur, if you can cure animals, you can cure my son also. So very confidently she told to Louis Pasteur. So Louis Pasteur tried his inoculation method, what he had tried to cure anthrax. The same method here Louis Pasteur tried, and he inoculated that boy. How inoculation yesterday we had seen, injecting the weak form of the same disease. So he injected weak rabies germs to that boy, and he recovered from that disease. So there he found a cure for rabies also. So deadly disease, two deadly diseases Louis Pasteur cured now. First one was anthrax, and here rabies. Although Dr. Jenner had already discovered how to vaccine against smallpox, he did not really understand about bacteria. Pasteur, after giving his life to the study, was able to prove the value of inoculation and to find out ways of varying it for different diseases. So we have seen yesterday Dr. Jenner from England. He already found some vaccination for smallpox, but even though he found vaccination, he had no more idea about this bacteria. So who started this study about bacteria? That was Louis Pasteur. He only started the branch of science called bacteriology and started studying about bacteria. His complete life he dedicated to this field of science. He studied a lot about bacteria and its processes, everything. And then through that he proved about inoculation, the ability or how much it is useful, that inoculation, he proved that. Then that nowadays that same method only we are using to cure number of diseases. So Louis Pasteur only started this bacteriology study about bacteria, and he gave through curing these two diseases, he had given the best contribution to the field of medicine or to the field of science. During the First World War, 1914 to 1918, the troops going abroad were inoculated against such diseases as typhoid and enteric fever, and the very low death rate from these illnesses among the troops, even in unhealthy places, was a great tribute to Pasteur's work. So in 1914 and 1918, First World War happened. You know, from social science you may have studied already. So at this time, from this troops means group of soldiers. Okay, troops, they were going for war. Before they go, they were inoculated, which means they injected these weak germs of some diseases like typhoid and enteric fever. Enteric fever is a disease which is affecting or which is taking our intestines into a bad condition. It is like typhoid only. Enteric fever and typhoid has no more dissimilarities, they are similar only. So when these troops, these soldiers, before they go for the war, before they go to the battlefield, they were inoculated. This weak form of germs would be injected into their body. So they had very low death rate from illnesses. They might have died by participating in war, but from diseases, from illnesses, they had very low death rate. Even they were in very unhealthy places. Unhealthy means, no, we know that when World War was going on, we won't get good places and healthy places and all. Wherever it is going on, wherever we have to stay and fight, we should be there. It might be healthier, unhealthy place, neater, dirty place. So wherever it is, we have to be there. So even in the unhealthy places also, they were perfectly well. They were away from this deadly diseases like typhoid and all. So this is like a great tribute for Pasteur's work, because he only started, or he only proved the importance, the value of inoculation in the society. Pasteur's memory is still honored in the Institut Pasteur in Paris, where bacteriology is studied by men of all nations. At the opening of the institute in 1888, Pasteur said, "Two opposing laws seem to me now in contest. The one, a law of blood and death, opening out each day new methods of destruction, forces nations to be always ready for the battle. The other, a law of peace, work and health, whose only aim is to deliver man from the disasters which surrounded him. The one seeks violent conquest, the other the relief of mankind. Which of these two laws will prevail, God only knows. But of this we may be sure, that science is obeying the law of humanity, will always labor to enlarge the frontiers of life." So even today, Louis Pasteur's memory is honored, where in Paris there is an institute named Pasteur Institute. And so where in that institute, from different countries, people are going and studying about bacteria. They study bacteriology, which was started by Louis Pasteur as a branch of science. So at the opening of this institute Pasteur in Paris in 1888, when Louis Pasteur went to inaugurate, to open that institute, that time he told something what he had said. We can see, "Two opposing laws seem to me now in contest." In front of me there are two things which is in contest, which is there in a competition. The first thing, the law of blood. Two laws are there in front of me, they are participating in a competition. The first law is law of death, blood and death, which means one is the field of science, which is dealing with the invention, discoveries about blood, destruction, battlefield, all these things. Another one is the law of peace, work and health. So this second law's aim only to give a peace for the common people. It should be away from the disasters. Man should not suffer from any disasters like health problems, sickness, illness, dangerous disease, deadly diseases and all. So there are two laws. One law is about blood and death, which is fight between countries, war between countries. For that, science is helping for that. Second law is the law of peace. So the one seeks violent conquest, the other relief of mankind. In these two laws, one law's aim is violence, which means we have to conquest, which we have to attack other countries and we have to get control over that. And another one is relief of mankind. Second law's aim is to give mankind humanity, show humanity. Which of these two laws will prevail, God only knows. In these two laws, which law will come front, which law will dominate the world, that God only knows. But one thing I am sure, Louis Pasteur is saying that, one thing I am sure, that science always will obey the law of humanity, will always labor to enlarge the frontiers of life. But one thing I am sure, that the law of humanity, science will give domination only for the law of humanity only. Science will think about humanity only mainly, more than this law of blood and death. In that, Louis Pasteur was very sure. Someone who knew Pasteur well in his old age described him thus: "Weary, with deep lines on his face, the skin and beard both white, his hair still thick and nearly always covered with a black cap, the broad forehead wrinkled, marked with the lines of genius, the mouth slightly drawn by paralysis, but full of kindness, and above all, the living thought which still flashes from the eyes beneath the deep shadow of the eyebrows." So at the end of his life, like when he got very old age, someone written about or someone described about Louis Pasteur who knew him very well. Someone who knew Louis Pasteur well, he described about him: weary with deep lines on his face, the skin and beard both white, his hair still thick and nearly always covered with a black cap. Louis Pasteur became very old now. On his face, deep lines came. His skin, his beard, both. Beard means you know that, no? So his skin, beard, both became white. He became very old. So his hair is very thick only, but it might be white. So even though it is white, he became very old age. His hair was very thick still, and he was covering always his hair with a black cap. His broad forehead was wrinkled, marked with the lines of genius. So he got old age, his forehead became wrinkled, but there we can see the mark of genius, the lines of genius. His mouth, he is not able to speak more now. He got very old age. His mouth is like paralysis. Paralysis means unable to move. So he is not able to talk more now, but he was full of kindness. We can feel the kindness from him. Even though he became very old age, that kindness we can we can get from him. And above all, the living thought which still flashes from the eyes beneath the deep shadow of the eyebrows. But even though he is unable, he is completely paralyzed, we can find out the living thought. No, still there is life in him. There is that kindness, there is that confidence of him, that geniusness, everything we can see just from his eyes, or just from his eyebrows. That someone told about Louis Pasteur. On Pasteur's 70th birthday, his jubilee was celebrated almost like a national festival. Like Lord Lister, he was honored in his old age by the scientists of all nations. At the crowded meeting in the great hall of the University of Paris, the old man was too overcome to speak, and his speech was read to the distinguished audience by his son. So, when the people celebrated Louis Pasteur's 70th birthday, they celebrated like a national festival. So, like Lord Livingston, who was Lord Lister? Lord Lister, his real name is Joseph Lister. He is from Britain. He is a British surgeon. He is famous for surgical sterile technique. You can check in Google and just type Joseph Lister. You can see his details there. It is available in Google. He is known for surgical sterile techniques. So, how people celebrated Lord Lister? In the same way, Louis Pasteur also honored when he became old age by the scientists of all the nation. All the country scientists were honoring Louis Pasteur for his greatness, for his great contribution to the field of science. At the crowded meeting, so at that birthday celebration, when Louis Pasteur came, he was unable to talk. He came to the Paris University, he was unable to talk. He was too overcome to speak. So he was not able to talk. So what he wanted to say, that his son read that speech, Louis Pasteur's speech. Louis Pasteur was not able to speak, so his speech read by his son to the audience. So here we can see the speech of Louis Pasteur. The future, he said, will belong to those who shall have done the most for suffering humanity. To the young students, he addressed a special word. First ask yourself, what have I done for my education? Then, as you advance in life, what have I done for my country? So that someday the supreme happiness may come to you, the consciousness of having contributed in some measure to the progress and welfare of humanity. So, Louis Pasteur told in his speech, in future, people will remember you for what you have done for the suffering people. The future will belong to the people who helped the suffering people. If anybody is helping the suffering people who is suffering in their life, if you help the poor people, the future will belong to you. Then he told to the young scientists or young students who appeared in that meeting, he told to them, first ask yourself what you studied, what have I done for my education, what I gave for my education. Then when you advance, when you progress in your life, then you ask to yourself, what have I done for my country? These two questions enough for you. When you are a student, ask yourself, what have I done for my education? Then after your studies, when you grow up, when you advance in your life, ask yourself, what have I done for my country? If these two things, if you get the proper answer, then one supreme happiness will come to you. That happiness is given by the consciousness of having contributed. that feel that you have given something for my, that I have given something for my country, I have done something for my country, that feel, that one consciousness will give you the supreme happiness. Pasteur himself certainly knew that happiness. He died in 1895 when he was 75, and no name in science is more honored or will longer be remembered. So Louis Pasteur died in 75 because he told that consciousness of giving something to the country, to the people, that will give you the supreme happiness. He can say that 100% from his heart, from his soul, because he knew the happiness. He only, by himself, he experienced that happiness, because how much he had done as a scientist, how much Louis Pasteur done for the fellow human being, for the common people, no one had done. So he knew the supreme happiness. So he died in 1895 when he was 75 years old. And in science, the field of science, there is no name honored or long remembered like Louis Pasteur. Even until now we remember Louis Pasteur as a great scientist, his contributions, whatever he had done, and how the way he helped the common people, the way he helped the suffering people. These all things in the field of science, the people will never forget. In this medical field, the field of science, the branch of science will never forget. So this is a small article about Louis Pasteur. I hope you understood. We have completed this chapter in 4 sessions. So if you have any doubt regarding any sessions, you can ask, you can comment in the comment box. I'll be clearing your doubts. So I hope you understood the chapter. The notes of the chapter will be given in the description box, including the glossary. Thank you so much. See you in the next video with the next chapter. Take care. Bye.